Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all for your incredible support so far. We've surpassed 1,000 subscribers and are well on our way with over 2,000 public watch hours. I wanted to share a screenshot of our current progress on this channel. Our next big milestone is to reach 4,000 public watch hours, and I know we can get there with your continued help. Every view counts, so keep watching, sharing, and enjoying the content. Thanks again for being part of this journey. Let's make it happen. Okay, now back to the video. Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive, and this time we're going to be talking about car design. Well, more specifically, one car design.
A particular project from Renault that I know you've been wanting to dig into.
Yeah, you know I love a good car design story, and this one is pretty special. It blends nostalgia and serious innovation.
And Renault's really been on a roll lately, haven't they? Partnering up with all these designers to reimagine their classic cars for a modern audience.
Yeah, it's like they're taking their design history and saying, okay, what if we took these classics and infused them with all of today's technology and design thinking? Like, what would that even look like?
And the results, I mean, they've been pretty impressive. And it's more than just a nostalgia play, right? I feel like these projects are making a statement about where Renault is going as a brand, their vision for the future of car design.
Okay, so for this deep dive, we're going back to the 1970s.
Ooh.
Yeah. Think sporty coupes, bold colors, a real sense of freedom on the open road.
Yeah.
Does the Renault 17, does that ring a bell?
Yeah, R17.
Yeah.
A true child of the 70s, embodies the era's design so well, I think.
Totally. For anyone who wasn't cruising around back then, picture this. The R17 was sleek. It had this almost futuristic wedge shape. It was very in at the time, and they had those frameless doors and those unique windows.
Right.
It was really cool. They even offered it as both a coupe and a convertible, so you had options, stylish options.
And what's really fascinating is that the R17, it transcended just being a car. It was more of a statement. You know? It was a statement of style, embracing the open road, embracing individuality. They made over 92,000 of these cars, which tells you how much it really resonated with people.
It really did. It had personality. Okay, so now imagine taking all of that 70s swagger and giving it a 21st century makeover.
Okay.
That is where the whole restomod movement comes in, taking a classic and bringing it up to speed. Aesthetically, technically, the whole package.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it, to maintain that essence of the original while you're weaving in those modern design sensibilities and technology?
For sure. And for this R17 revival, Renault went all out, collaborating with Ora Ïto.
Oh, wow.
This guy is a pretty big deal in the design world.
Yeah, no, Ora Ïto's work well. He's known for this bold, futuristic aesthetic. And his whole philosophy of simplicity, which is basically creating these designs that on the surface look so simple, but underneath, they have this incredible complexity. It's like taking something that's so complicated and making it look effortless.
Right, like he designed that special edition Heineken bottle, the aluminum one, that had this really unique shape. So you know that anything he does is going to be eye-catching.
And he's a child of the 70s himself. So, I feel like there's a synergy there, this understanding of what made that era of design so iconic.
Totally. And this isn't some pie-in-the-sky concept car. They actually built this thing. Ora Ïto and Renault's design team took it from the drawing board to a real drivable car.
Wow.
And they did not hold back.
No, they did not. They made some really significant changes, both inside out.
Yeah, it's like like Ora Ïto said, they draped the original R17 in a second skin.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. So you know what really caught my eye? The headlights.
Yeah.
They replaced those classic round ones with these super sharp rectangular headlights.
Bold.
Such a bold move, and of course it wouldn't be a real restomod without some carbon fiber, right?
Right. And they use it in such a clever way here. It's not just for show. It serves a real purpose.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber is incredibly strong and lightweight, so that means better performance and handling.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as someone who appreciates a sporty coupe, I appreciate that.
It's like they took the original and they just amplified it somehow.
Yeah.
It's got way more presence, way more attitude. And they didn't just stop at the exterior. The interior's got a total, complete overhaul, too. For the seats, they use this really unique blend of merino wool and boucle.
Ooh, very high-end.
Yeah.
That speaks to that crossover we're seeing more and more of these days. Automotive design and luxury interiors.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, where does one begin and the other end?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like your living room in your car.
It's true. Like, why should a car be any less luxurious than your living room these days?
Yeah.
But I also brought in some serious tech, you know. The dashboard is all digital now, like a sleek touchscreen. And they added these cool little geometric screens right behind the steering
Oh,
wheel.
I love those.
Yeah?
They're like a subtle nod to the original R17's dashboard dials.
Right.
It's so clever, weaving the past and the present.
Totally. Like honoring the past, but embracing the future.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's get to like the heart of this restomod. They replaced the original engine with a fully electric powertrain. What do you make of that choice?
It's a bold move, I'll give them that. And I think it really works in this context. Remember how we were talking about Ora Ïto's whole complexity thing? Electric powertrains have this inherent simplicity to them, this kind of quiet power. It actually aligns perfectly with his whole design philosophy.
You know, that's a really good point. So it's not just about being electric, it's about how that choice really reflects the whole design ethos.
Right.
It's like that electric powertrain almost adds like this other layer, this other level of sophistication to the complexity, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the performance angle, too, because electric cars, they can be incredibly quick and responsive. That instant torque you feel when you hit the accelerator.
Yeah.
It's exhilarating. And for a car that was, let's remember, originally marketed as a sporty coupe, you know, I feel like that connection is really important.
Yeah, it's like they're tapping into the original spirit of the R17, like that sense of fun and freedom on the open road, but they're expressing it in this totally updated modern way.
Yeah,
So it's not just about looking cool, it's actually delivering on that promise of performance, but in a way that like makes sense for right now.
absolutely. Yeah. And this actually ties into a much bigger conversation happening right now in the automotive industry as a whole, which is this move towards electric powertrains, even for the higher performance models.
Yeah, it's true. Electric isn't like the future anymore, it's now.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting about this particular project is what it says about Renault's whole strategy, you know. This R17 Restomod, it's not just like a one-off. They've been doing this with other classic models too, collaborating with different designers each time.
It's true. It's like they're curating their own design heritage in a way. They worked with Mathieu Léonard, Pierre Guerlain, Sabine Marcellus.
Yeah.
Each designer brought their own unique perspective and style, but like the underlying theme is the same. How do we reinterpret these iconic Renault models for a modern audience?
And by doing that, they're making a statement about who they are as a brand today.
Yeah.
It's not just about selling cars anymore, right? It's about shaping the future of mobility, pushing those boundaries, and sparking conversations.
Absolutely. And I think we have to talk about the nostalgia factor too, because these cars, they hold a special place in a lot of people's hearts.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they evoke memories, they evoke emotions. And I think by reimagining them, Renault's tapping into that. It's a way of bridging generations.
Yeah.
You know, like we remember, and we're carrying that forward.
Yeah, it's a smart strategy when you think about it. It generates buzz, it gets people talking, and it positions them as this, you know, forward-thinking company that still respects its roots.
For sure.
And honestly, these Restomods, just super cool. They're like rolling pieces of art.
And speaking of art, I love how Ora Ïto described his goal with this project. He said he wanted to create something retro-futuristic, almost cinematic.
It does have that vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like it should be in a movie cruising through some neon-lit city. But what does that even mean? Retro-futuristic. It sounds like a paradox.
I know. It's like, how can something be retro and futuristic at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
But it works.
Yeah.
I think it's about capturing how a bygone era, how they envision the future.
Okay.
So like, think about those really futuristic designs from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
All of those sleek lines and chrome. They were really trying to imagine what the future would look like.
Right.
And so it's like taking that nostalgic view of the future and reinterpreting it for today.
So it's not just retro, it's retro through a modern lens.
Exactly.
Very cool. Okay, but they didn't just like unveil this car at a car show, did they?
Oh, no. The R17 electric Restomod by Ora Ïto, it was shown at some really prestigious events.
Like what?
Like the Chantilly Arts and Elegance Richard Mille, which celebrates the art and elegance of classic cars. So, I mean, imagine that setting, right? Rolling hills, historic chateaus, and then this futuristic reimagining of this 70s classic just glides by.
Talk about making an entrance.
I know. And then, of course, it was featured at the Paris Motor Show, which is one of the biggest automotive events in the world.
Wow.
So this car was made to be seen.
Yeah.
It was made to be admired. It was made to spark a conversation. And you know what? maybe a little bit of envy too.
Oh, for sure. It definitely makes you think, like, what would I do if I could rest mod my dream car?
That's the beauty of it. It just captures your imagination. It makes you think about those possibilities.
Right.
It's not just about the car. It's about the stories that it tells, the emotions that it evokes, and those conversations that it sparks.
It makes you wonder what other classics are out there just waiting for someone to reimagine them.
Right.
But before we get too carried away dreaming up our own restomods, I want to go back to something you said earlier. You said these projects represent a larger trend in car design.
Yeah.
What is it about this whole retro-futuristic thing that really seems to be capturing people's imaginations, both designers and car enthusiasts?
That's a great question. I think on the one hand, it speaks to our collective fascination with the past,
Yeah,
especially in a time when technology is like advancing so rapidly.
it's true.
It's like we find this comfort, in revisiting those classic designs,
Totally.
those icons of cool from a bygone era. It's a way of holding on to something that feels tangible, something with a story in this world that increasingly feels very digital, very ephemeral.
I totally get that. Like, I find myself drawn to vintage items. There's just this craftsmanship and attention to detail that you don't often see anymore.
Exactly. But it's not just about replicating the past, right? It's about taking the best of both worlds, taking those timeless design elements, the lines, the proportions, and then fusing them with modern technology, modern materials. It's like breathing new life into those classics, making them relevant for today.
It's not just nostalgia then, it's innovation.
Exactly.
It's like taking inspiration from the past to create something new and exciting for the future.
You got it. And I think that's what's so compelling about what Renault is doing with this particular project.
Yeah.
It's not just about slapping a new coat of paint on an old car. This is a holistic approach. They're reimagining every aspect, from the powertrain to the interior.
Right.
It's through that lens of both heritage and innovation, which I think is so important.
Yeah, it is a powerful statement. And it makes me think, if Renault, a company with so much history, with such a strong legacy, if they're willing to embrace this kind of bold experimentation, what does that say to other car manufacturers?
I think it sends a message. Don't be afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to challenge conventions, and look to the past for inspiration, even as you're designing for the future. I think in many ways, Renault is leading the way here, showing that it is possible to honor your heritage, but also push those boundaries.
And they're doing it in a way that's so stylish, so thought-provoking, even a little bit rebellious, maybe.
I love it, because ultimately car design, it's an art form.
It is.
It's about more than transportation. It's about expression. It's about innovation.
Yeah.
It's about capturing the spirit of a particular time and place. And who knows, maybe these retro-futuristic creations, these restomods, they'll inspire a whole new generation of car designers.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
Imagine the possibilities. Okay, well, this deep dive has been incredible. It's given us so much to think about design, about innovation, the enduring allure of classic cars, and like where things are going in the future.
It's been so fun to unpack this with you. And you know how much I love a good conversation about design, especially how it intersects with technology and culture.
Me too. And you know what? This conversation has definitely sparked some ideas for my own dream Restomod.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe we can pick this up offline. Let's do it. I want to hear all about it.
Okay, deal. But for now, we want to hear from you. What classic car do you think deserves the Restomod treatment? Head over to the comment stream below and let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, punch that like button and subscribe for more content like these.